Here we go. So this is going to be my Premier League predictions. I'm going to do this as quickly as possible. No intro. Here we go. So my three teams getting relegated are Leeds, Fulham, and Bournemouth. This is due to a collection of poor recruitment in the summer, and I do think that with the loss of Rafinha and Calvin Phillips, Leeds are going to be the one club that I think are unfortunately going to get relegated next season. These next four teams in any order, but I think Brighton, Brentford, Nottingham Forest, and Everton are going to be next. Nottingham Forest and Everton, I think, are going to be the two clubs that are going to be fighting to stay in the Premier League. They're going to be the closest teams to be in the relegation zone. And I do think that with those two teams, I think they're going to survive. With Brighton, they did bode well last season with the loss of Ben White in their defense. Even if they lose Cucurella and they've also lost Basoma, I do think that they're such a fantastic club, and I do think they're going to survive another Premier League season. Brentford, people were writing Brentford off last season. Everybody expected them to finish like 20th, but they surpassed everybody's expectations. Ivan Toney is a fantastic striker. I think they're going to do the same thing again this season. Being a little bit controversial, Crystal Palace pretty much finish around this position every single year, so this is pretty easy. Now with Southampton, people will think, I've heard people say Southampton will get relegated. I heard people say Southampton will finish like 16th or 17th. I don't believe that at all. I think with James Ward-Prowse, I think with their recruitment of young players this season, I do think that they're going to be comfortably finishing in the mid-table this season. Now with Newcastle and Aston Villa, those are going to be the two clubs that I think are going to be closest to getting a European spot, but just missing out ever so slightly towards the last part of the season. Bruno Gomes was a fantastic player for Newcastle over the course of the 6 months after the winter transfer window, and I do think with Botman that Newcastle will be a threat to some of the teams fighting for those European places. The City and Wolves have pretty much stayed pretty stagnant in this transfer window, and I mean in terms of top quality signings. Leicester have actually made no signings, and I do think even though Wolves are going to be getting Pedro Neto back, he didn't play a lot of games last season, and that was a huge loss. I don't think Leicester City and Wolves will have enough quality to surpass teams like Aston Villa and Newcastle for next season. So many different combinations you could put for this next tier, but no matter what you put, you're going to be wrong and you're going to be right at the same time. So Chelsea, I think, are going to be the one club that's going to actually miss out of the top four. I think with the recruitments of the other two London clubs, I think they're going to be missing out on a Champions League spot, unfortunately. Manchester United and West Ham are pretty much, I feel the same way about both of them. They're two top quality clubs. I do think that those two can push for Champions League spots towards the latter half of the season, but I don't think they're going to have enough quality to finish in those top four. Manchester United could finish top four. If I had to choose one, it would be Manchester United instead of West Ham to finish top four. West Ham have had such a great window, but I do think that those two clubs will finish 6th and 7th next season. I apologize for any Chelsea fans watching, but I do think these London clubs will finish above Chelsea for next season. Arsenal, I think, got the same amount of wins as Chelsea, or maybe one more from last season, and Tottenham are literally winning this transfer window, so I do think those two teams will be battling it out towards the latter half of the season. I do think those two teams will finish in the top four. Call me biased, but I do think Man City are going to win the Man City will win the Premier League this upcoming season. I think the recruitment of Erling Haaland is just too big to ignore. Darwin Núñez is a top quality player. I don't think he's worth 100 million, but we'll see for next season. If I put Man City at second, people are going to say I'm sandbagging. If I put them at first, people are going to say I'm biased. So there isn't a right answer to this, but I think with the recruitments of Haaland, Alvarez, and Phillips, I do think we have the squad and the squad depth to challenge for top two and challenge for every single trophy for next season. I do think Man City will win the Premier League, and I do think Liverpool will challenge, but I do think Tottenham will be the one club to actually push Man City and Liverpool all the way. Look, this is a Premier League, anything can happen. Tottenham could win the league, Liverpool can win the league, Chelsea can somehow win the league, Man United can somehow get first, second, or third. This is the Premier League. It's the greatest league in the world. We got so much talent in the top half of our table, but I do think Man City will end up being victorious. If that happens, we shall see, but bring it on.